Hello and welcome to Community Viewpoint. I'm your host for this segment, Maria Guerra, and I'm once again joining you on a Zoom show, but it's going to be a great show. I am so excited to have two very awesome people join us tonight. Tim and Pam from Artisan Cellars Winery. Welcome to Community Viewpoint, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. We're glad to be here.
I am so happy to have you on. I just recently got to visit, and I'm so excited to ask you some questions. So let me start. Where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Northern Nevada. I was raised in rural Nevada near Carson City. And
I was raised in Las Vegas, back before it was quite as big as it is. I grew up with a horse and a little bit more rural considering it was Las Vegas. But my parents have had a place out here in Front for about 30 years. They didn't live here full time until about 6 years ago. So we actually moved out here full time before they did. So we've been out here for about 9 years.
That is awesome. We are so happy to have you. And what is your background? Like, what did you do before you had the winery?
well, I've been involved mostly in management, sales, and marketing my adult career. But I really got interested in wine and vineyards in the whole process. Growing up in Northern Nevada, I was about 3.5 hours from Napa. And I had an uncle down in California who was always like, hey, come down here. You got to check this place out. Finally, I went down there and spent some time down in the Napa area with him and fell in love with it. And that was really my career goal. And finally had the opportunity about, 10, 15 years ago to really start getting into the wine business.
That is awesome. And so that's what made you want to start the winery. And what kind of brought you to the decision to finally get it opened?
We had that decision years ago, but it took quite a while to accomplish it. There are a lot of hurdles to surmount, but
So we started Northern Nevada. We grew alfalfa, and my dad had actually passed away in the 2000s, and we have water rights. And Mom said, "Look, we're going to keep growing alfalfa." And I said, "No, I hate alfalfa. We're going to grow grapevines." So actually took her to a seminar at UC Davis on doing a vineyard and got her enthused about it. And so we started planting grapevines up in Northern Nevada, and that really kind of got us going on it, on the whole project.
That is amazing. So you are actually have an operating vineyard in Northern Nevada, and that's where you get, that's the source for your wines here.
Well, it's actually one source. Yeah, we actually have 9 vineyards throughout Nevada that we harvest. Yeah, that they're privately owned. We've really tried to promote the Nevada industry, Nevada grapes, and Nevada vineyards. And so we've kind of joked about it, but we've had a philosophy of, if you plant a grape, we'll come harvest it somewhere.
That's awesome.
A wine grape, yeah, we'll harvest it.
Well, a funny story, we did, our crew accidentally one time harvested a bunch of table grapes. We couldn't do a darn thing with them, but we had like 150 pounds of table grapes.
Yeah, we'll make good wine.
Maybe those will go with some of the plates, the food. So tell me about Artisan Cellars and Cellars Winery. Tell me about it.
Well, we've been making wine for quite some time, and our original vision was to do more like what they do throughout the Sierra foothills and some parts of California and even Arizona, and that is open up sort of a small weekend winery tasting room. Because eventually, when you start making wine, you have a lot of wine. You can only drink so much. You need to start selling some of it eventually.
Right.
And, so that was our original vision, but because of some of the regulations within the county, they weren't really set up to have that sort of a weekend winery business without going through a whole lot of commercial process, expense, and regulations. So then about 4 years ago, we started looking for, well, let's open up a winery tasting room in more of a commercial area. But it took us quite a while between looking at zoning and making offers on property and just trying to find the right place. We actually signed the lease on this place September 12th of 2019. and were delayed a lot because of COVID and the pandemic and everything being shut down. We were delayed for a full year before we could open.
We officially opened to the
Oh,
public
goodness.
September 11th of 2020.
Oh my goodness. So not just red wine, but a lot of red tape too.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. But you did it and here you are. And when I got the opportunity to go last weekend, it's gorgeous there. So all of the viewers watching right now, I really hope that you have the opportunity to go visit soon and often, because it's really a beautiful place that you've put together there. And tell us a little bit about some of the wines and some of the food and some of the things that are going on there.
Well, first, let me tell you a little bit about some of the details in the building.
Okay.
Because we did them specifically to capture some of Nevada's history. So we have kind of a little bit of a steampunk feel going on inside the building. And you'll see that there's a lot of pipe and a lot of kind of Victorian elements and things. And that's because we wanted to capture some of Nevada's history. Nevada would not have been a state if it were not for the Civil War, mining, and trains, because the Union needed our gold and silver, and the way that they got it was with our trains. So there's a lot of elements that pick up that just to kind of reflect that history.
That's awesome. That's
We did a lot of the
awesome.
work. We did a lot of the work on the place ourselves. Of course, when we were not open because of the pandemic, we had some time to do that. And so a lot of the design elements, really all the design elements are our signature. It's us that did it.
So you're not just winemakers, you're artists. That's awesome. I want to
It
go
turned
back
out
now
nice.
again and just like look around, because I was so excited to be there and I was hungry. And so I was so excited for all the food and the wine. And we sat in one room and there's different rooms there. So the one room that we had sat in, I think is the room you're in maybe now. And there was some other homemade craft something being served in there. So tell me about that.
So we have, yes, we have a lot of great wines, and not everybody's drinks wine, which came as a surprise to us, frankly. But we do have craft sodas. We actually make the craft sodas. We use artesian water. We use desert honey that go into that. So it's really also part of this area. It goes into our craft sodas also. We do a root beer, a cream soda, a cola, and an orange.
That is
We have
awesome.
vanilla ice cream, so any of those could be a float.
I want all of them. Right now I'm thinking like, so root beer as an appetizer and then a orange creamsicle float after.
There you go.
That sounds so good. So so tell me a little bit about the menu as well.
Well, so originally we were just going to have snack bar type food or just do meats and cheeses and like picnic supplies. But with COVID, and there were some requirements at one point that you had to have substantial hot food to be open. So
Okay.
we changed up our menu based around that. We got a couple pieces of kitchen equipment, created a menu. Rotary was kind enough. We were already catering their lunch. They were kind enough to be my test kitchen. So I would just,
That's
I would
awesome.
tell them what I was going to feed them. I would just feed them. And then if I got good feedback, that made it to the menu. Everything on our menu is specifically designed to pair with at least one of our wines. Some
Oh,
pair with more, but we have, in addition to our small plates, which include things like some caprese bites that we serve heated, unless you can't have the bread, but then we can serve them cold without the bread. We also do different cheese plates. We have I'm trying to think of the appetizers without the menu in front of me. But nice charcuterie where you get a nice assortment of artisan cheeses and meats and some Marcona almonds, some fun things on there. We also have little flatbread pizzas. They're about the size of a personal pizza, but they're not going to be traditional toppings. The closest thing we have to a traditional topping pizza is our Margherita Classic. And everything else is a little interesting from there. For instance, we have a summer peach and balsamic pizza, which
ooh.
is pretty interesting. and an apple cheddar pancetta pizza. So, and we have paninis, a variety of different paninis, and we serve paninis with some truffle chips.
So
Plus
you
we have a
didn't just
wine
make a snack
desserts.
menu. I'm sorry, you didn't just make a snack menu. You made it. That is a fantastic list. And I actually got the opportunity to try the margarita pizza, the charcuterie plates, and the caprese bites. And they were all delicious. So whoever's watching, I highly recommend them all. And one other thing that I was like super happy about, anybody that has dietary, special dietary needs, I noticed you also offer a gluten-free option. And then before we started, you said there was a dairy-free option. So that's amazing. So thank you for doing that.
Oh, whenever somebody comes in and they say that they have some type of dietary restriction, we try to be very cognizant of that. You know, whether it's they can't have dairy or they can't have gluten. We have a really nice cauliflower crust. So nice and crispy.
Delicious.
It's got a good flavor profile and yet no gluten in that. I couldn't have my only gluten-free option be kettle chips or truffle chips.
I think one of the great things about our place too is the fact that we have such great sunsets here, and we've expanded our outdoor seating quite a bit. We have music on Sunday afternoons now on the back patio. We do special events here now. We also are doing paint nights, paint and wine nights twice a
Oh,
month.
that's awesome.
Yeah, on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday. We're doing a movie night where you can come in and watch a classic movie and have wine and some truffle popcorn for during the movie.
Oh my gosh. That is amazing. I'm going to have you on again so the viewers can get all kinds of updates. And then I want to bring a bunch of pictures, and maybe we can do a show down there so everybody can see like how fantastic it is.
That'd be
Because
great.
now I have many plans, like all the stuff you just mentioned, I'm coming down for. So thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to put your name and address on the bottom of the screen. It should have been popping up during the whole show as the viewers are watching. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.